Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
How many times have you heard the phrase, feeling like a kid at Christmas? It has never been more true than right here, right now. Have you ever awakened to such euphoria, Valley sports fans, to a bigger, shinier box under the tree? Yeah, me neither. Now, I'm going to be honest. There was a time last summer when I pushed back on the acquisition of Kevin Durant, a player who can be sullen, moody, combative, a time when I did not want to give up on the homegrown product in exchange for a mercenary super team. But today, my thinking has changed because the Suns were 21-24 at one point this year, and we all saw our glorious championship window closing before our eyes, and also because the Cardinals have been such an abject disaster for the last 10 months. In other words, the Suns didn't just need this to restore their status as real, legitimate title contenders. We needed this, and by we, I mean a sagging sports town that was once again losing all hope in the local teams, and that has literally changed overnight. And do not talk to me about mortgaging the future, because like I always say, you can't change the past, and there's no such thing as the future. There's no such thing as tomorrow, because it's just a concept, because time is only now, and because the time is now, because we are a sports town that will host a major championship on Sunday, and thanks to Matt Ishbia, we are a sports town that might be pursuing its own championship later this summer, the one the Valley really wants. And if that happens, the team can always give celebratory thank you rings to Mikal Bridges and Cam.
The Suns championship title window, opening wide open again after some thought it may be closing. I think it's interesting. We've obviously given our thoughts on it. We are pro Kevin Durant trade on this, with the acknowledgement the Suns gave up a ton to make this happen. Mm-hmm. But following our discussion with Rick Bucher, who's not on the same side as us, didn't like the trade for the Suns, and actually used the phrase that the Nets took advantage of a new owner trying to make a splash. Mm-hmm. That it could very well shake out that way.
Sure.
But the way I look at it, and it comes down to brass tacks for me, I had to convince myself that this Suns team, as currently constructed as of yesterday, I had to convince myself that they were going to be okay and could make a run at a championship, mostly because of the Western Conference being what it is. There's not a team that is separating itself. But now that this deal is done, go back to July of 2021, when the Suns were in the finals. They were up 2-0, and when Giannis decided, I'm taking this thing over, and the Suns really couldn't do much to combat it, but now they can. A healthy Kevin Durant in the playoffs as a top 2 scoring option, he's that guy. He's the guy that other teams try to accumulate talent to stop in the playoffs, and you add that to Devin Booker, and the potential is off the charts.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, as I said in the blast, at this point in time, I wholeheartedly sign off on this, even though you are giving up Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and a lot of draft picks in the future. And again, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who were once rightfully accused of mortgaging the future, nobody complained about that other than Ken Kendrick, because he had to pay the bills. And so, to me, mortgaging the future, yeah, but you know what? Whatever. I don't care about that anymore. So this does get the Suns back into that conversation, back into that game. It does have to work, but again, this is a chance for Chris Paul to get that championship. It's a chance for Kevin Durant to get to the city he wanted to be as of last summer. And I think that this is a tremendously exciting thing. And I'm going to repeat this because I'm sure we have a new audience now. After the game in Brooklyn, I was really kind of enthused by what I thought was a broken brotherhood maybe kind of coming back together. And I thought maybe, just maybe, the trade rumors for Chris Paul had kind of spurred a moment where this team kind of all looked at each other and said, man, we've all been through some stuff, haven't we? And let's reconnect hands in the middle, let's do this thing. And I was going to spend a lot of time talking about that idea today and whether or not that was feasible and whether or not it was happening, and we all woke up to Kevin Durant. What I find to be absolutely fascinating is last summer when the Kevin Durant thing went from being not immediate to something that might happen around the trade deadline, we all knew that this day might be coming, and yet when the day came today, it stunned the hell out of all of us. Even though we knew this, even though we talked about this for weeks last summer, at the end of last summer.
Yes. Because it went from a point where, okay, this burst on the scene. Kevin Durant says, I want to come to Phoenix. Everybody in Phoenix freaks out. It got to the point where people are saying, this is going to happen in the very near future. And it cooled off. And a lot of the reason why it cooled off was something that the Suns resolved yesterday, and that was the Mikal Bridges sticking point. And I'm sitting here talking about it. I've been aware of this now since I woke up this morning at 3:30, and we've been talking about it for 2+ hours, and it still hasn't resonated.
I know.
And I told Sarah this too. The worst part of it is, in your blast, you talked about waking up to a shiny present under the tree. You can't open the present for a while. We're probably not going to see Kevin Durant make his debut until after the All-Star break, which is a bummer.
Yeah, of course it is.
And it comes at a time when the Suns did have momentum in the Western Conference standings and still do going into tonight's game, but it's going to be a very short-handed crew tonight.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a very weird experience for those watching tonight's game because this is not at all a game that's going to even remotely resemble what the Suns are going to be, and they're going to be a short-handed team, and I don't know what to expect about this, but again, this is also a team that knows Kevin Durant is on its way. And again, let's talk about something very superficial. This is a big event town. This is a star-struck town.
Yes.
The idea of winning a championship with a homegrown crew appealed to a lot of people. It appealed to a lot of young, diehard Suns fans who are having a real tough time saying goodbye to the Twins. Yet most of this audience, most of this market now they're engaged because it's Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Because it's the big name, because it's the star. There's a reason why the Pro-Am yesterday at WM Phoenix Open was more well-attended than most every other regular PGA Tour stop golf tournament is, because we are obsessed with celebrities and big events and stardust, and now Kevin Durant's coming to the Suns. Like you said, it's very, very much like Charles Barkley.
Yep, you can text your thoughts to the FanDuel text line at 620-620.